What's going on, gangsters? Woo!
Do you ever remember when you were a kid and they told you you could be whatever you wanted to be? And I believed them. That's a little quote off of Wisdom, if you've never seen that movie. Emilio Estevez plays a younger kid down on his luck and can't find a job anywhere because he had a felony and all that good stuff. But I just got to thinking sometimes how many people work a job that they necessarily don't like, and they just hate going to work. I remember when I was a kid, a lot of times, you know, when you're real young, I had this book thing one time where I had different grades, and you could put your picture. It was like a little book. You could paste your picture in there for your school picture, and you could write stuff in there or whatever, your teacher, and you had a thing on there. It was like, what do you want to be? And you know, back then, you hear a lot of kids want to be firefighters, want to be a policeman, or whatever like that. You never really put it to thought in first, second, third grade. You just put it down. And mine, I remember years later when I was in my 20s, one time I looked at one of them. I don't have it no more. I don't know if my mom might have it or something. But I looked at it, and it said stuff like firefighter, police officer, correctional officer. That's what my dad did most of my young life, but I never did any of it. I'm pretty simple. I've done a lot of different jobs over the years, and started working in 1993. I was like 17, and my first job was a security officer. Yeah, I did that for like a year and a half. I've done other jobs. You know, I tried to do construction after that, and it was just too hot. Where I lived in Virginia Beach at the time, it was just too freaking hot. So I had to get away from that. I came back here, did a lot of cleaning jobs over the years. You know, I cleaned at a college. I cleaned at two different hospitals nearby. I did another security job at a hospital for a while. But it seemed like after a year or two, I don't know, man. I just wasn't happy with the situation that I was in, working and stuff. I always wanted to do something that I actually enjoyed doing. And there is people out there that'll tell you, I love my job. I've never really loved my job. It's just a job to me. I'm not a career type person. I didn't go to college or nothing like that, which I probably should have. But I didn't like school and stuff hardly. My dad once told me that I liked to learn stuff that I wanted to learn. If it was like at that time, you know, in the 80s, he was big into sports. You know, there for a while, I could tell you every Super Bowl champion. I could tell you the scores. I could tell you who had records and this and that. Basketball the same way, because it was something I enjoyed, and trying to learn American history and stuff like that, I didn't really enjoy, so I didn't do that good in school half the time. I probably could have. I just didn't pay attention most of the time. So most of the years I did jobs were just to survive. When I was married, just to pay the bills, have some money left over, made sure you eat, take care of your kids and stuff. You know, I did a few different jobs. I think the longest I ever had a job was like 4 years, or almost 4.5 years. And that's 3 different jobs that I've had. One of them was at a local hospital. I stripped and waxed floors and stuff. And then there was the taxi driver. I forgot about that. I drove taxi for 4 years. And what was the other one? There was another 4-year one. Oh, it's just a recent job that I had before this job I'm at for the last year. I delivered furniture for 4 years. And it wasn't that bad sometimes. But then, you know, sometimes I bitched and complained about stupid stuff. That now, the job I have now doing, you know, I was hired to do recycling and stuff, but we do a lot of demo work and stuff, buildings and stuff. And I think back to the other job thinking, you know what, I don't know why I was bitching and moaning about that job. That job was pretty damn simple. I probably would have stayed at that job a little bit longer if I'd have got raises. It's all about the money. So yeah, like I said, you know, I probably could have done that job a little longer, but I make more money now, and I get overtime every week. If I work every day of the week or every 2 weeks, you get some overtime. But it's a lot of wear and tear on my body. This end of this year, I'll be 45 years old, and I feel like there's mornings when you get up and you just don't want to go. And there's a lot of people that get up in the mornings and they don't want to go to work or something, and most of the time that's because you don't like your job. I didn't become a doctor or anything. I didn't become a lawyer. I didn't go to college, like I said. I wanted for a few years to work like in a CD store or something like FYE. I put in applications there, and I put in application at another place called Cheap Thrills. I had a buddy work there for a little while, and he even talked for me and tried to get me on. And most of the time they got on there, people that got on there, they seemed to stay for a while. And I think he stayed for almost 5 years. And everybody else, except for him, he was pretty normal and everything. He's crazy sometimes. We grew up together. But everybody else seemed like to have this quality about them where they worked in a record store and they had long hair and they looked like they just didn't give a damn. They woke up, they threw on their flannel, their flannel shirt or whatever, and they didn't even comb their hair or nothing. I'm not knocking anybody that does that. There's a certain lifestyle, I guess. I don't know. I tried to get a job there a bunch of different times, and I think maybe I just didn't have the personality that they wanted at that job. And I even told the people that, I know a lot about music, I know a lot about movies. They sold used DVDs and CDs and Blu-rays and stuff like that. Something that I would really like to do, So I never did get that kind of job. Never got one on FYE. There were some wild looking fellers that worked at FYE too over the years, and I'm thinking it's just, I don't have the look, or what is it, Recently, in the last few years, I wanted to work in a hobby store, like a collectible store. And Jason, he runs Spookables. He opened up his, and his is so small that, he gets all the money he makes and stuff, and I understand he don't need an employee. Larry, Welcome Back Collectibles, I bugged him for a few years, and I've helped him. When I used to work at my other job at the furniture place, I was off on Wednesdays and Sundays, so I wanted to I helped him out a lot on Wednesdays. Sometimes I would just not really do it for a whole lot of money. I'd get paid a little bit of money. He'd buy my lunch. I'd get a few new figures, or I'd get some movies or something like that, and I'd be on my way. Well, when I got this job now, I'm off on weekends, so I couldn't really help him out a whole lot. But in recent year, recently I tried to get back on with him again and help him out, and he had another guy help him out apparently. He's a younger kid, not knocking anybody or nothing, but he has that look where got the hair and the lifestyle where, he's in the video games and stuff like that. I don't know a whole lot about video games, but I know about collectibles and movies and, wrestling figures, stuff like that. And I always, bugged him about it and joked with him, hire me full time, pay me $400 or $500 a week, and I love it, I'm not necessarily wanted to own one of these places. I just wanted to work in one of these places. And I'm not knocking Larry or nothing. He's a great guy. I've known him for so many years. And, he said he couldn't. He didn't make enough money. And then out of the blue, this younger kid is working there most of the time. Every time I've been in there, I don't know if he works every day, but it seems like he does. And, he's got a lot of stuff to do and straighten, and his shop looks great and everything. And so, I had a vacation, and I asked him, I could do some work. I'll help you out sometime this week. I'm not doing nothing really. And he said he was on vacation for a few days himself. He'd let me know when he got back. He never let me know anything. And I found out that the young dude that he had helped run the shop one day while he was out of town. And I was thinking, I could have done that for a little bit, but he just didn't pick me. Like I said, I'm not knocking him or anything. He's a hell of a dude. He knows his business, and he used to work a lot. You know, he's worked jobs for other people too and stuff. It ain't like he's always done this. He gets to do what he loves now, and that's just like I want to do something I love. And it kind of hurt my feelings a little bit, but I mean, that's the breaks. I mean, like I said, maybe I just don't have the personality or what they're looking for to help out or do. But there's another store that's popped up in the last year called 80s Toys. He only opens up through the week in the evenings at 5 to 7 because he works another job in the mornings. And I guess he didn't want to let go of that because he'd been there for a while and testing the waters. But they've been open for a year now, and he opens up on Saturdays all day. So I just recently messaged him too and asked him, you know, if he ever thought about opening up full time through the week. And you know, I'd love to do something like that. And if he ever thought about hiring anybody, let me know. You know, I'd love to do that, and that'd help out. And just to put a smile on somebody's face when they come in to buy an old figurine or a new figurine or whatever, you know, that's collectors. We love that stuff. Haven't heard back from him since I messaged him. Maybe not a smart way to put in a job resume or whatever somewhere. I just told him if he ever thought about it, and you know, if he don't, then that's fine. But you know, if he changes his mind one day, to let me know, and maybe I could, you know, help him out a little bit. You know, I don't have to get paid a whole lot. It's not about the money. You know, I could take a little bit of a pay cut, and I'd still do it because, you know, I just don't. I don't like the job. Some parts of the job that I'm at, and some parts I do like. So I like the people I work with. But they've never really worked with somebody like me that collects figurines and loves movies the way I do. And I think sometimes they think it's a little odd, but it's just something I like to do. I mean, I just come to this movie room. I got the lights toned down a little bit for this video. It's not bright and everything, but it just makes me happy. You know, in one part of my life, I'm happy with Rhonda and everything, and you know, to be able to get up and go do something else like that to make money would be even better, because my body's wearing out, it seems like. I've even asked, you know, the bosses if they had something else that I could do, you know, let me know and get away from the demo part, because my knees and my back's hurting, and my sizes of my body, you know, of course I'm overweight and everything. I've lost weight and I've gained it back, and lost weight and gained it back before, and the older you get, it seems like the harder it is. So it seems to be taking a toll on my body. And I'm not making excuses, you know, that's just the way it is. It's just one of them videos that I just had in my head today. You know, for years, it's not always about updates and stuff on this channel. I've done a lot of different types of videos, and this is like, I don't know, a release sometimes, just to put it out there on a video. And you know, I have friends online. I have a lot more friends online, it seems like, than I do in real life. It's just the way it is. I love Instagram and YouTube more than anything. Facebook's alright. I kind of got burnt out on that. But I just wanted to do this video, and, you know, that's just, I'm pretty simple, you know. I like to work and get money, and you know, I collect stuff, and it'd be nice to be able to put that into a job where you enjoyed and helped others, you know, complete collections of buying stuff or whatever, or just, you know, and it just didn't have to work as hard sometimes, you know, just putting up displays and stuff. I've been told by Rhonda and other people that I do such a good job setting up stuff in the movie room and everything. And I got something for that, and I think I could do that in a store, like setting. I worked at Walmart before too. I wanted to work in the toy section, but I didn't get to. I had to unload trucks, which sucked. I did that for about a year or two, so that was, you know. And I worked at a department store called Rose's, I unloaded trucks. I had to stock stuff. They didn't have the greatest toy section. I would love to work in the toy section in Walmart, but never could get transferred or anything, so gave that job up too. I always had a job usually when I left other jobs, except one time when I left the hospital years ago. But I had a little 401k thing and I dipped into and I took the money and I quit. But if you feel this way, if there's something you want to do and you just haven't got to do it, and you just want to do it, and nobody gives you chances to do it, I don't know. It's kind of depressing at times. Because you get up and it's like, I gotta go in here and do this shit again today. When I would love to get up and go in there and put new wrestling figures on the shelves at 80s Toys or something, or that would be so much more fun to do. But not everybody gets to do it. If everybody loved their job, this world would be so much happier, I guess. So there's millions of people out there that don't love their job, just like me. I not necessarily hate it, but there's days where I just get like this and I think, and I'm gonna die here. I want to be able to do something like work at a store like 80s Toys or Welcome Back Collectibles or something like that before I leave this world and enjoy, going into work for once. Might not probably ever happen. I've been working for 28 years now, going on 29, and I've been at many jobs. 29 years, I probably worked over 30 some jobs in my life. So a lot of people say suck it up, buttercup, and just do your work and go home and get your paycheck or whatever and go home and pay your bills. I just want a little bit more out of life for that part. My other part of my life with Rhonda and everything's great, and where we live is great, and we don't stress over money or anything. We do pay our bills and we have money left over to do things, and that's one thing that's important. And I do have halfway decent health, but sometimes I feel like a 90-year-old man. After I get home from work, I sit on the couch for a little bit and then I get up and my damn knees and legs and my feet hurt so bad. But probably a lot of people are going to say that's life, deal with it, quit crying about it. But just a video I wanted to do here. It's probably too long. A lot of people won't even finish watching all of it. It's just something I want to get off my chest today. And if you have a dream job that you've never got to do, leave a comment at the bottom. Let me know what your dream job would be. Most of the people watch this love movies and they love figures too, so maybe it kind of be a little related to the stuff that I've talked about in this video. Anyway, I'll quit holding you up. If you've seen all this and watched it all and you stuck around all this time, I thank you for letting me, what do they say it, bend your ear. Till next time.